Oxfam GB puts women, work and inequality at the heart of everything it does. That's why we're encouraging more young women to consider a career in the information and communication technology sector. As Amber Burke, Oxfam GB's CIO, explains, increasing the number of women in the ICT industry isn't just a social justice issue, it's smart economics. I started by asking her how she made it to the top in tech.
So I fell into IT. It was a complete accident, but it turned out to be something that really suited me. So I went from computer operator type jobs in large data centres through to starting to learn how to code. And from coding, I then went into project management and then broader management. But it was not an obvious path for me, but I must admit I absolutely love it.
Would you say that you've experienced challenges as a woman working in the ICT sector?
Absolutely. So I started working in IT in the 1980s and it was still a very sexist place to be. I was one of 3 women in a department of about 60 men when I first started. I think that's been one of the really lovely things about the last 10 years of my career, and particularly working here at Oxfam, has been that the number of women who are working in our department is 50-50. I mean, it is fantastic and it feels a lot different to the way that it used to, much more supportive.
Why does an issue like encouraging girls into ICT matter to an organisation like Oxfam?
At the heart of inequality globally is an issue around gender and the place of women in all areas of society. And I think particularly as it relates to IT, increasingly that's just a way of living for people. So it's essential that women have a voice in that area, and if we're looking to make the global economy work better and be more equitable for women, then it's essential that women get in on the ground and get those roles. As a sector, it's booming right now, but there is an alarming shortfall in the number of skilled people who can take this forward. And I strongly believe that women can be part of that solution.
We know there's a shortage of women across the ICT sector. Can you tell us what's happening in your division to try and reverse that trend?
In the countries where we work, if we can hire women, I want us to do that. If the roles and skills are right to do so, I think it's really important to make sure that we are walking the talk in our own program as well. And we also have a challenge even here about making sure that women are in senior decision-making roles. The coding is easier to do, but actually being in the management roles and setting those decisions and strategy is part of, I think, what I can bring. We have a commitment here to supporting women in terms of flexible working. We set up a whole range of community-based events to try and identify women who needed to come back, but also work needs to fit in around the family, and I think that's really important to do. We've encouraged the women who do work here with us to participate in our own mentoring program, the Active Women's Leadership Program. And we're bringing a whole lot of girls from the local area here into Oxfam House so that they can see the actual work that we're doing in all the areas of tech. So that's both our public engagement but also our humanitarian work and our development work as well.
What advice would you give to young women who are out there and considering a career in ICT?
I'd say go for it. I think there are so many different types of jobs that are available in ICT, and they range from coding right through to the sorts of jobs I do that are much more, budgets and strategy and that kind of stuff. The really interesting thing, I think, is that ICT is an incredibly creative role. So it's not just about being a geek, although, of course, if you are, that's brilliant too. But many high-profile women in ICT have degrees that aren't computer science, myself included. I have a degree in psychology, and that is, I must admit, something that I do use every day.